It's not bad. It's all right. It's okay.
Not that I've been to the Etihad, but I think from the outside it looks the same. But yeah, about 7 times.
Same sort
it's
of
better than the old ground anyway. Because I went to the old ground a few times. Beaufort Park.
What a shed that was.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest. Yeah.
The only ground worse than that now, it was Roker Park.
Sorry about that, everybody. It appears as though we lost a bit of audio there for a bit. We're back on. So, like I say, we were just saying, looking ahead to the Preston game tomorrow night, and we've also got the Hull City game at the weekend. So, lads, without further ado, while we've still got a bit of sound, last Wednesday, the boys in red and white, they responded to the defeat against Norwich with a 2-0 victory against Bolton. Anything, Foxy, that impressed you?
The first 20 minutes and some of the balls Downing was putting in were excellent. First 20 minutes, Saville impressed me. Everybody looked good. Then they made a mistake. We scored, and then I genuinely thought it was possibly one of the worst performances I've seen in a long time after that. And we were really lucky in the end that we hit them on the counter, because we went 1-0 up and then we pretty much played into their hands, where we sit deep second half. They're all about long balls and being physical, which we said, and that's all they did for 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. And then we caught them on the counter and it was 2-0. Yeah. It was going to go 1-1 that game or 2-0. Yeah. But I think as performance-wise, I think the same as Swansea, we had a couple of clear chances, but the problem that we've got is we've now got no wingers whatsoever, and we've got a lot of people in the middle doing the same job, and we can't settle on one set of players to play there.
We'll expand on this because we want to talk about Bolton, Swansea and all the other things about the performances, but
didn't rate the Bolton performance, but we got the points.
We got the points. George Saville, he got the first goal. What did you make of his performance on the night?
I like George. I liked when he was at Millwall. And you know, I always say, but I'm really good that we couldn't bring in Jed Wallace with him. You know,
Gregory.
We're going there last season.
Players,
to the Den twice this season. Last season, you've seen him, you know, the link-up play. But listen, away from that, George Saville's an excellent player, and I think we've got a really, really talented kid there.
I'll tell you what I was impressed with as well. Not only his goal, there was a spell in the second half where, like you say, they started loading the long balls up, and at one point it broke, and a lad got through, and he came from nowhere.
Yes, you're right. It was a fantastic tackle. That was a
V attacked 1-1.
Yeah, totally, absolutely great. And that, I don't know whether you were going to elaborate on that slightly, but box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And energy as well, which is, I think, now in the last month. No, that's been harsh. In the last 2 weeks, definitely. Since Norwich, the energy's gone out of that centre of midfield.
The thing is, well, he came on against Norwich, and I didn't think he impressed, did he? And
I think it was a lot. I think he probably only done one training session. He'd been away with Northern Ireland, probably did one day's training.
And even after that game, everyone was slagging him off, saying, "Oh, he's rubbish." And then he came back the next game, he scored. It's like, well,
the one thing is, I don't want to see. We're now seeing Howson play right midfield, or we're seeing that scenario now to fit people in. And I know you're going to talk about it, but that was the one thing, maybe for me, where I don't. If we back into that scenario again,
right?
Yeah. As we mentioned about the Norwich, there was 18 formations. Yeah. Are we back to that now? We don't know who's going to play where to fit one person.
And it's almost like trying to fit all these players, shoe on in all these midfielders into a team, because he's brought these midfielders in.
And now wants to be proved that right to be bringing them in.
Yeah.
The thing I was going to say though, I know we've got stuff to get through, but the only thing I was just going to shout out for you two and everyone who's watching is that, are we now at the point now where that's going to be a problem, where I've brought these players in, so I'll prove that I can make them play, but then is that going to have an effect on the dynamic, which, quite frankly, was working okay, but the energy's gone. So I just worry now that he is a player that needs to start, but who do you drop?
Saville.
Yeah. And you've got to play him where he needs to play, which is in the middle.
Yeah. Someone just touched on actually, Daniel Stevenson there, just said, would you start Besic or Saville next league game?
I think it's hard to drop Saville after what he's done in the first. And I mean, to be honest, Besic, I know we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. I feel for the lad, because there's not the options maybe going forward that were there last year. So I've seen it when he's come on in the games he's played. He's getting the ball and he's looking up and he's thinking, where do I go with this? Yeah. And it almost looks as though he's holding onto the ball a little bit too much. But I see it as though there's not many options for him to pick out. So I think you've got to go Saville at the minute.
Someone, Jack Hunter there as well, he's left a comment saying, good evening. 2 points dropped Saturday. We were more than capable of winning.
I know when we talked about this last week, I said 2 points out of the 2 games. And look, you know, I want to be. It's a hard season. A lot of teams go, you know, Rotherham went to Forest, just scraped a 1-0 in the last minute, and and teams are scraped. But then on the flip side of that, when I've looked at teams, what I was going to say was, people say performances don't matter, we're getting the results, but there comes a point in the season where you're going to play someone who's played really well, who can do the above, and we had that last year where we ran into Villa, who were garbage pretty much, and they still had a little bit more of a performance than us, and we don't go any further. And I think whether it's now or whether it's at the end of the season, we've struggled with performances for quite a while. We seem to dip a toe in a game. Sheffield United at home, we perform for half an hour, we go 3-0 up, but then they could have easily made it 3-3. Birmingham at home, we perform for 25 minutes, maybe at the beginning of the half and the beginning of the second half, but they had chances too. Yeah. I could go on. Bristol City away, they hit the bar 3 times. There's times now in the game where our performance is not enough to get us through a game, but yeah, it is right now. And I just wonder whether these teams that we've beaten, or the runs that we've been on, their time's going to come in the season where they go beaten, and our playing badly doesn't matter anymore, because you have to play well at some point to breed confidence, to breed goals, for everyone to gel and have a relationship. Yeah. And I don't see that. And now we're trying to fiddle about and change people again with, as we've mentioned, with Saville, the Norwich debacle, where it didn't know who we wanted to put there. And is that going to cost us at some point in the season? The Swansea game, yes, we could have won, because they didn't have any clear-cut chances. Yeah. If we'd have come out with that with a 1-0 win, yes, it's another win with an half-decent, with not the best of performances. But we've got to play all these teams again. Yeah. And as we know, you can be bottom at Christmas and still go up. Yeah. And I just wonder whether Borough's whatever it is that's putting us out there at the moment, this playing badly and winning,
might not be enough to get you through a whole season.
And I was just going to mention Derby, sorry, before. I know it's not as other I was just going to say Derby on Saturday had a real game against a team that were playing really well, and they had Lawrence out, for example, who's their main man. Mason Mount took the reins, and they looked good.
Yeah, but the 2 games before that, they drew 0-0 at home to Blackburn, lost at 1-0 at Rotherham.
No, I know.
And I think if we did that, our fans would be absolutely piling into them.
There would be, but I think that if we had somebody like a Lampard who was learning his trade, I personally would be a little bit easier to give him more sort of leeway. Whereas when we're talking about Pulis, who everyone says is this experienced manager who's got this and this, that you expect more from him. I do now, because we've had a pre-season, we've had players in that he wanted, and if we can't buy wingers, we find another way of playing, and yet we're still stuck in this kind of this thing where people are on his. Would we be on his back more? Would we be on his back less if we were playing a little bit? If we were putting in better performances? I just think, like you say with Derby, they've turned the corner. I think, because the way they played on Saturday they played brilliant. Yeah.
I think the thing is, in the Championship, it's difficult to keep it going for an entire season.
You're not going to have
great performances week in, week out,
But it's not about a great performance week in, week out, it's just showing that there's a performance in the team whereby you see relationships forming, and if it doesn't happen all game, that's fine, but I want to see, as the season goes on, us progress, and I feel as if we've gone Millwall garbage, 6 games unbeaten, back to square one again, and then we're knocking out... We're putting a couple of chances away, we're getting away with it.
Is this not too dissimilar to what Cardiff did last season? And where did they end up?
I don't know. I think they have a formula and they play a certain way and they stick to it. We still don't know what our best plan is, and that's the worrying thing, maybe, without me waffling all night.
Just going back to last week, sorry mate. Just going back to last week, Dale Fry had to make way as he went to a back 4 last week. Do you think that was expected, unfair? What did you make of that?
Unfair on Dale, I think. Since he's come in, he's been one of our best defenders, I'd say. Yeah. Then of course look at Ayala and think, now you're not partners for starting to grow. So was it the right sort of option? Was it not? Bringing him in, Dale hasn't put a foot wrong for me. But then it comes to the fact of, you can switch formations. You're gonna do, but someone's got to come out. Someone's got to come in. Yeah.
And it's probably easier to leave him out than it is the other two, isn't it?
I think our defence at the minute is so solid. It's unbelievable. But when we go forward. And I think we lacked that a little bit against Swansea going forward, where we needed that goal. We needed that person to step up and say, okay, I can score this goal.
And the energy.
Because their back line was so solid, but you need that player. And I said in that game, I said, to people around me, I said, this is the sort of game Abbas Traore would love to play in. Yeah. Because he would have brought down their back line and he would have just tortured and made them tired.
But the worrying thing is with the Swansea game is they made 7 changes. And they've got people
one
like
6. That's what did my head in. They came to us with poor form.
But they've drew a lot as well, and they've gone to places and drew as well, and like teams that are half decent around us, Forest for example. They were, but that's what I'm saying. They made 7 changes. You know, they've got people like Wilfred Bonny to come into that team. And somebody, if someone like that kicked in, you know, he scored them at the top of the league. But I know what you're saying. But I just worry that in context of looking at the games, with teams that we've beaten and the chances that we create. Every team's had chances against us. I don't think we're this solid back four that everyone says we are, because I've seen chances.
At times we look it.
We do.
Everyone mucks in, I suppose, don't they?
We've got a great work ethic. We're industrious is the word I'd use.
I don't think you can fault the team for their effort at all, and I think people that have a go at the players for their effort, that's one thing you can't accuse them of. I mean, that on Saturday...
They give everything.
And I don't think it's any coincidence. That's 7 games out of 9 now. You've kept a clean sheet. I know you were saying there, Swansea did make chances.
No, it isn't a coincidence, I agree.
But I think it does come at a cost of what you're doing going forward.
And I just have this worrying feeling that the teams that we've dealt with so far, we ain't seen the best of them yet. And as you saw with Birmingham against Leeds on Saturday, Birmingham deserved a win there. They look really good. And we said it on this show, they've been a team who've not won, but yet, and they can't even score, but yet they look good. And I just worry that it'll come around again where these wins aren't as necessarily a true reflection of the season. Like you've said, you can't fluke clean sheets, but I don't think we have. I just think other teams haven't took the chances yet.
Anything from the viewers, AJ?
Yeah, getting a fair bit in, to be honest with you. Jacob Ross has wrote into us saying, I'd take a risk and drop Howson, play Clayton, Besic and Saville.
That is a very... I would agree with that. New.
And then he said, what about a 4-1-2-1-2? Randolph, Shotton, Ayala, Flint, Friend, Clayton, Howson, Besic, Saville, Braithwaite and Sonbalonga.
I mean, that's an interesting one, Braithwaite. I mean, I know I watched him on Saturday and I thought he's great. He's got all the touches when he's got time on the ball and he's got space. He seemed to struggle a little bit for me on Saturday. He struggled a little bit, and when he came under pressure, he went to ground very easily. And I thought we just need a little bit more from that as a number 10.
Do you think, Hutchie, then, with Braithwaite, then, do you think that maybe, and again, I know this is... I think that's what separates the best. Is do you think maybe there's a bit of pressure on him now because there's been so much talk about him being our player of the season so far, and then maybe coming back and thinking and feeling that a bit, maybe?
Maybe because he's the one player that maybe does offer you something a little bit different in that team. It's not like it can come from 2 or 3 different players, and I think maybe we're looking at him unfairly to produce all these chances for everybody. And I think it is a lot on the lad's shoulders. I mean, he can do it, and he's a capable footballer. I don't know if in the Championship physically if he's up to it. I hope I'm proved wrong. I'm not too sure. I mean, it wasn't a terrible result at the weekend.
No, not at all.
We haven't lost.
No, not at all.
And like I said, I think we've got into a little bit there about why we didn't get the victory, and maybe it's a creativity thing, isn't it?
I just felt like we dropped 2 points.
You feel like we've lost 2 points?
Honestly, because I look at the game, mate, and I think first half we had 4 chances there.
Especially with the second string out.
I know Ayala had the shot went over the bar, Saville at the bar.
Sonbalonga had a couple of flashing across the box.
But it decided 6-yard box. He only had to swing his foot. The back post one.
Maybe with me, I feel as if I've been here before with this, and I've seen all these positives and superlatives last season from January to April, where we didn't get beat. We beat all these teams that everybody perceived as good. Me too, Leeds at all. We peppered, and we went away. We beat, and we had these clean sheets. And then when it comes to it, we can't create against the better opposition. That is something for me why I'm a little bit sort of now. If this was in context of just this season, then I'd say we've had a good opening considering that we had no one at the start of the season. We thought the squad was dirty. And here we are now where we are, nothing off the top amongst everybody. But I just feel as if I've been here before and I can't let myself start going.
You feel as though there's more to come from other clubs than
there
is from us.
There's got to be.
I feel like we have to give more.
Stoke City's one.
I feel like there's still a lot more to give.
I think they've got a great squad on paper.
We'll get rid of Rowett.
There's issues there.
There is. And I just think you can't have all them players in that team and be bad. You've got to have, maybe it's the management. Sorry,
I probably received the most criticism I've ever received from my comments I made on Saturday. And it was mixed, and people were saying, well, what the hell are you going on about? And I said, I'm not angry at where we're behind the table, and the fact that Borough only lost 1 all season. I said, when you go into games against Swansea, that, like I said, we won in the last 6, there weren't nothing for that Saturday for me.
No, there was a second string.
It showed that we went for a point when we made the substitution that we did.
Which is worrying.
If you would have stuck Sonbalonga, if you stuck Hugill and Braithwaite up front, you're telling me that right now at Borough, we've not brought them down the last 20 minutes and got a goal.
I think that's a bit of a concern for me in terms of what happened on Saturday. It wasn't the performance, but what the options are off the bench.
When he brings on McQueen, he's a left back.
Do you not think as well with this is that we saw this, and I know I keep referring to Villa, but that was the critical game. That when we came to Villa last year, he put Bamford out wide, who'd been lethal, and couldn't wait to get Castell up front. And also in the home leg, he made a change where he went defensive straight away and tried to just take the 1-0. And I just thought, like you've said,
yeah.
You just the best way to defend, as we all know, is attacking.
We only had to attack them on Saturday, and they would have put down.
Yeah, put 3 up front.
But we didn't earn, apart from the first half of them chances. Yeah. In the second half, we created from it. I sat there thinking,
and we ain't got no runners from midfield to play with.
It didn't hurt us. Not one player in that team. Ollie McBurney was a big name before it all. Yeah. Watch him. He didn't do anything.
Do you think there's anything in what Tony Pulis has come out with after the game? He started going about the fixture. Well, not so much refereeing, but the fixture scheduling. About you play 46 games in the Championship, and it's Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday.
The professional footballers, they should be able to play 2 games in a week. I mean, it's not as if I would probably do that. I'd probably agree with that if we were back 20 years and the pitches were horrific every week and it was taking so much out of them. But the pitches to play on are lethal. Everything's perfect. They have so much behind the scenes with sports science and masseurs after the game. All these things that are there to aid you to be back to peak fitness straight away. Yeah. And you know what? I would disagree, because when you watch Wimbledon, for example, or a tennis player play for 4 hours non-stop and then he plays 2 days later and puts us in. There's no way that a footballer's putting more energy in than a tennis player on when it's all shuttle. At least in a football game, you get a chance to stand about.
It's true, it's true.
And that's my point, and I just think...
It's all about gaining ground early, don't you? That's what they say. But then I get criticised for what I said on Saturday, but I'm thinking, well, if we want to start gaining ground, we had the chance there to go above Leeds and maybe go a few points clear. Now, of course, the players didn't know that they
should be a bit of hunger there.
I just think this year...
We only had to attack them.
Yeah. I just think this year, I don't think anyone's going to run away with that. For me, I think the best team probably in the division for me will be West Brom. I think they've got quite a bit of everything. They've got a good forward line.
We have the ability to run away with it early, we do. And I say, are we going to look back now? Are we going to look back at the end of the season, though? If we're 4th downwards, but if we sit in the place and go... Do you know what it is? We should have beat Swansea. Do you know what it is? We should have beat so-and-so. Because I remember that season that we didn't go
but
up.
Every point
and everyone looked back and said, everyone did that season that we didn't go up, and everyone looked back at Blackburn and they beat us 2-1.
You're totally right. And a lot of our friends on Saturday, when we were having the analysis afterwards, a lot of our friends were saying, well, Howie, you don't lose the season in September. These move on to the game. But the conversations that I stopped having, because I thought, well, if you can comment like that, then you obviously... There's no point in me wasting my time having a football... Every game, every
whichever
point.
team's in front of you, but I'm sorry, but if Swansea the team in front of us...
Exactly.
We could have beat them. We had the ability to beat them.
It's exactly the same scenario as when people say, well, you didn't score at the 90th minute, but they're all minutes, they all count. You don't have to score in the 10th or the 11th.
No, of course not.
As you've said there, every point matters, and we will go back and start going, well, what about Swansea at home? What about Norwich away?
That's it,
you know, and like you said, teams get beat.
That happens to every team,
happens to every team. Leeds,
I can accept defeat.
Leeds
but when
a
the
few
team sat in front of
ones.
you, they never attacked us.
Not for a team.
They were not interested in coming to Borough and attacking us.
Can I ask you, is that a worry then for you guys then, if Pulis is making substitutions like that at certain parts of the game and not going for it? What's that telling you?
If he's bringing on a defender and it's 0-0 at home, that tells me then that he's bottled it and that he wants to settle for a draw.
I don't know. I think there was little things coming out before the game, in the press conference before the game. There was mentioning about Swansea had 24 hours more to prepare for that game, and we didn't. And just pick up on little things about. Has he seen something in training that suggests to him that they are tired or they're not at it? Or
and is that a bit of a defeatist attitude for you?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of things. People quite like Pulis in terms of his honesty.
Oh, I do. Well, he's a great man manager. I love him as a guy. I just worry that when you're coming out and saying things like that, which I didn't know, that for me is setting yourself up well if we do get beat. That's the reason. Whereas really you should be putting all your focus and energy into how do we beat them, and if we don't get the result, then fine. Like we all do with football fans, then you break it down and then you your analysis. But
quite an interesting thing here from Brad Bannon. Stop criticising Pulis' tactics. How can you say things are bad? We've only conceded 3 goals all season. Give the lads some credit. We're tight at the back, and Pulis is playing to our player strengths.
It's not about that.
It's a funny thing, because I was looking at some stats over the weekend about previous promotion teams. I looked at our team in 1986-87, which was the 3rd division team. 46 games they played, they only conceded 30 goals, got promoted in 2nd place. How many goals do you reckon they scored in that season?
Probably about 40.
Got more than that. Got 67, which isn't prolific if you think over a 46-game season.
And what you need to take out of context, Brad, is that it's not about picking up the pieces because we've had one dodgy result at Norwich and we've scraped against both. It's about, we've seen this before, and it's the bigger picture. And what worries me is that it's not about, we've been unbeaten and stuff like that, but a lot of teams can go unbeaten at this time of the season. Yeah. And then they fail off. We've seen it so many times throughout the years with an average team, a Wigan, whoever you want to name, will go, and then all of a sudden when it comes to it, they fail off because teams take time to get started. But it's not about picking us to pieces and there's only it's about what and how we're creating in the context of that game, and we struggle. Yeah. We struggle.
Go on, mate.
He has replied back, Brad, and he said, "You need to think about the bigger picture. We're not conceding goals, so we're insanely good in my opinion. You need to be solid at the back if you want to go up."
And I think that's a fair point. You do have to be solid.
But nil-nils don't get you promoted, because we saw that last year. Not. We could not score when it came to it against Aston Villa with perceivably the best player in the league in our team. That is why I'm so worried now, because we've apparently now spread the load, but there isn't no one else taking the load.
I mean, there was a lot of debate on phone-ins and social media after the game about us being one-dimensional, lacking width.
In another way, from being one-dimensional with Traore last season, we've done it in another way now.
And the manager's obviously bemoaned some of the decision-making, which you can see in the pitch when players get into good positions and they're not picking the final ball. Do you think they're valid points, all of them?
Yeah, totally are, but they're not. One of those and those together are not enough to sway why we are where we are, because it's obvious. Yeah. People make football so complicated. You need space to win games. You can't do anything without space, whether it's half a yard or a yard. No, you either bring in a technical player to give you that, or you have passing moving, or you have players that can understand relationships, so that when we get the ball, for example, against Bolton on Tuesday, Wednesday, we are stopped that every time the ball went from left to right, we had to stop and look. There wasn't just the knowledge of he's going to be bombing on. He's going to be making... And that's because players aren't playing together and building relationships, and all the best teams
chemistry in it.
Yes, either have a relationship, and I'll use Leicester as an example. They hardly changed their 11 all season. They maybe have Mahrez, who was a standout player, and Vardy, who can finish, but within that rest of that team it was all workman-like relation built, and we don't have that now. And yet we knew at the end of the game against Aston Villa at home what we needed to do if Traore went. We couldn't bring in the personnel, which I'm not saying it's Pulis's fault. Those things that he's mentioned about players not knowing where to go, referees' decisions, they're all things that referees' decisions maybe you can't work on. Yeah. But relationships and people knowing where, that is why it's frustrating for me.
I think, like we've touched on there, I think it's difficult because he can only work with what's at his disposal. He obviously wanted to bring other players in the transfer window, didn't get them in, particularly like a right-sided player.
Lassie will be a bit different. Lassie will be a bit more...
That's what I'm saying. On Saturday we need that player, and I think this season we're going to struggle. On the wings pace-wise, if we don't bring in that player that we can go to now... What annoyed me towards the end of Traore's reign at Borough was the fact that it was always Traore. It was always give them. And I know, go on, mate.
Yeah, I know we've mentioned it on other shows as well, and I think again it was crying out for it a little bit on the weekend. Is something off the bench a little bit different, like wing, like
Chapman even.
Chapman.
Why Tav's a great shout. Yeah. Why can't we play with these players?
Someone's mentioned a wing in here.
They've done that wrong.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned in here. Sorry, mate. CB Gaming Vlogs. When I get it, I was on here.
Tav's a great shout.
He said on here, he said, when Pulis wants someone in, the first 11, his first thing is to take out a young lads.
Because it's easy.
Like wing, like Fry.
Which is like, fair point. Which is tomorrow, we'll definitely play all them kids. Now, if we, as you said, get to the quarterfinals and last 16, do you then start bringing in your regular league
you have to, don't you?
But you do, but the point is with that is, do they deserve to be? That's the
thing. The kids have got you there.
I agree with that. The kids have worked hard to get there.
So then, what we're seeing here with Tav is the point I'll highlight, because that's a very good point for me. Is that he started last season at Bournemouth, made his debut, scored the goal. He went against Sunderland, where we were garbage, and scored the only goal and looked good. And all of a sudden, he goes to MK Dons. So for me, I just think that within that link of players on the bench thinking, well, hang on a minute.
It is back to the Dimmy story, that though. Dimmy, when we went up to Premier League,
it's another one.
And he didn't get a look in, and everyone was saying, "Where's Dimmy?"
But for a kid, a goalkeeper, I get, but a goalkeeper...
For a kid that's young,
he shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. And he could be a superstar, if you like, even though he's only a Borough.
I mean, Blackburn wanted Chapman back. Now, look how well, as we're talking about teams unbeaten, look how well Blackburn are doing this season.
Yeah. Especially going forward. They still wanted Chapman in that team. So what does that tell you about a team? They've scored more goals than us this season, I think. Why then would they want to start him, but we doesn't want to start him in our team? Why is Howson or Downing? I mean... I don't want to be on Downing's back. He's a local lad. I'd love him to be lethal. This is no pantomime stuff here. He put some great balls into the box, especially for Bolton. People weren't as good a delivery as anyone you'll see when he gets it. But he's been let down by the people who aren't getting in there and doing, which is what you said. But that stops after a while, and then he goes in the middle, which he is not quick enough to play in the middle for. So for me, why can't we have a Chapman in there? What difference? He's not going to do any less.
Is it experience to why we play Downing?
But unless the other players are on his
he offers us
page.
balance. He thinks he offers us a bit of balance down that left-hand side. Is he worried about George and what he can do? So he wants to have him there to shore things up a little bit.
It's like Dad's Army on the left-hand side now,
that then. Brad Bannon just said Steven Gerrard's trying to sign Tavernier for Rangers.
What? I mean, you know what, right? There's players out there that other players want. Now, you've mentioned that, right? Now, they also, as we mentioned there with Chapman, we're going to a team that have already got creative players in there, i.e. Dak, who looks lethal.
He looks class.
Right? Now, they still want to play Chapman in the middle with him.
What about the likes of Steve Walker, though, the young striker that's coming through?
Well, I was just going to say
Ashley Fletcher's the same
do you want to see all these lads involved
I
tomorrow
do.
night?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'd love to see tomorrow night? I'd love to see two up front.
Walker and Fletcher.
I'd love to see. Why not put them two up front? They're both quick.
Walker's got great feet.
They've both got things to prove.
So's Fletcher, yeah. But this is what we're saying about this game, though, is even if they go out tomorrow night and both score an hat-trick, is he going to say it on Saturday? But I tell you what, I'll put you in against Hull.
No.
No, he's not.
Well, wherever you play him across the front four.
It's wrong because Fletcher's been playing well.
Very well.
And he's in our top 3 goal scorers this season. And he's isolated out the team.
That's the point.
Do you know what he says?
Yeah.
He came out on Saturday and Pewdon said, oh, but don't worry, because go set up play against Preston.
Why?
He hasn't played.
To give him fitness because all this comes back now.
Steve Walker,
and that's why I worry, because that's why I get worried and don't get happy about these.
Look, how many youngsters, right? Let's put him when he was young and went on to have a big career. I know he's in prison.
Pulis has got his way of playing.
Adam Johnson went to Man City. You know, Downing went off to
Downing
was in Tottenham for a swap move with Gareth Bale. We had youngsters with Bonner, we let them go too soon.
And this is what we're saying now, is that it worries you that when we're not playing well and we're trying to find different ways of playing against Norwich or wherever, that we've got all these players here that he won't take a risk on, and that he's quite happy to kick out the team when we're not doing well and bring in the old-timers that he wants to rely on, because he's got the faith in them. There's nothing wrong with a manager having faith in your players, but there also comes a point where, and Alex Ferguson was the best at it, where you go, look, you know what, you're my number one in that position, but right now I need you for this because you aren't doing what I want you to do. So I'm bringing in the young buck to try and push you.
I think we're all in agreement that promotion's the main thing this season.
Oh, we don't care about the cup.
And like I say, it'd be nice to give the youngsters another run out tomorrow night. I don't think there's anything to lose by.
No.
If we go out, it's not the end of the world.
But it'd be nice to then, as a springboard, if somebody has a great game to start the team.
Get in the bench or something like that.
Give him at least 15 minutes touch on a Saturday to so there you go.
So bear in mind, we don't know what the team's going to be tomorrow night or what Preston's team's going to be for that matter. What do you think the score will be, Foxy?
You know what? I think with that team that we think is going to play with the younger lads getting the game, there's going to be a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Preston got beat again on Saturday, didn't they, I think? Did they?
Yes, they lost 3-2 at Sheffield United, they're bottom of the table.
Bottom of the table, so they'll probably make changes. As you said, we don't know what it is, but I think it'll be another tight game because it's going to be a bunch of lads playing together who don't play until every 3 weeks. So I think it could possibly be a 2-1, or it could be an extra time that. Oh no, it won't be. It could be a draw that tomorrow night then. But I'd like to see a Borough. I'd take a 1-0 all day long with that team.
Yeah, see how it goes. Yeah. So that's tomorrow night in the League Cup. The weekend, back to league action. We go to Hull City. The Tigers are currently 21st in the Championship. They've won 1 and lost 3 of their opening 4 games. They've only scored 4 goals in those 4 matches at home. Similar background to the Norwich game. We know what happened there. So what do we have to do to get a different outcome on Saturday?
Please, let us see some more attacking football. Let us see some more attacking presence. As I say, I know we're tired back, but I want to see us push teams. I want to see us hurt teams or cheap, because at the minute, we're scoring 1 goal every couple of games. I want to see go in a game now. Everyone knows who's style of play. But I want to see us really hurt teams, because I know we have the ability in the team.
I agree.
We have the likes of Hugill. He's a bit. We've seen it at Preston. And everyone in the Championship was scared of him.
I think the thing for me with Hugill is, if you're going to play him in the team, you've got to deliver balls into the box.
He's got to have someone next to him when he was
which is what Downey was doing. If you're going to play Downey, to be fair, like I said, he was putting balls in. There was no one there. And that's doing him a disservice in a way. And then maybe he's give up. But like you say, he'll score your goals. Hugill down the middle with the balls in the box.
When he did Preston, he had that Gallagher next to him. They were flying. Balls were going in, and he seemed to score against Borough. That is. If he had some belonging next to him and Braithwaite in the number 10 role, we will kill teams. But listen, Hull on Saturday, I'm sorry, I can't take nothing more than 3 points against them. They're at poor. I mean, Reading did them 3-0. Reading, and that's all disrespect to Reading.
And Reading have been poor this season.
Yeah, Reading
They've had a similar.
team.
I think that's probably their first win, is it?
I've got a friend that's sports friend, and he tells me how bad they are every week. We have to be getting 3 points at home. We have to be.
Especially as we've gone there the last few seasons.
It's been a happy hunting ground for us last season. We tortured them.
Demolished them, didn't we?
I mean, they have got some threats in the team. I've always liked the look of Jared Bourne. I think he's a decent player.
Good player.
As Mark Page would say, from the World Cup, Jackson Irvine, who played for Australia in the World Cup. Fraser Campbell, I know he's been on the scene for a while, but he can chip in with a goal.
Good
so there will be threats there, and it will be testing. But I think, if like you say, if we're wanting to achieve what we're hoping to achieve this season, that's a game we've got to pick 3 points up on Saturday, isn't it?
Totally agree.
If we get beat by Hull, I'm sorry, but something's gone wrong there.
It depends in what manner we get beat. If we went there and got beat 4-3 or 5-4 or something silly, and we were brilliant, and just like you said, it was a Norwich, and they just all of a sudden they thought, well, Borough roll into town, we're going to put the. Raise our game, then I don't know if I'd be unhappy because we've got beat, but I think, well, you know what, we've proved there we can score goals, let's crack on with that. As we've said, everyone gets beat in this league.
It's got to be
loads of times.
It's got to be 3 points. I don't care how we get it, it's got to be 3 points.
Yeah. Anything from the viewers with regards to the whole game?
They're just giving us some score predictions, mate, to be honest with you. They're saying, imagine Gusted and Hugh Gill start up front together, a defender's worst nightmare. That's from Daniel Stevenson. Someone's saying 2-1. It's Guesty, 3-2 Borough, but he's actually on Colombo South Stand. Whoever's YouTube account that is was Guesty, he's talking to us on. 3-0, someone's saying 3-3. Borough win the penalties tomorrow night. Give the kids a chance against Preston, they're shocking. 2-0 Borough, 4-2 against Preston. Jacob Ross is going. 3-0 tomorrow, and someone reckons Chapman and Tav will play.
Tav isn't in the squad for me, and the first team is just mental.
Unless there's injuries and stuff, but the club aren't coming out and saying that these lads are injured. I just think
he's getting a call up a train with England. Even though he's not playing or anything like that, he's still been recognised enough to go, tell you what, he's got talent in him. But he's getting in with a bunch of Premier League players to train, but yet he's not good enough to get in a championship team. I don't understand it.
I'm sorry, I've got to bring that up here. Jacob Ross has given us a team for Hull. And it's thrown me off a little bit, this.
What's this?
Hull. This is for Hull.
Is this 4-1-2-3-1-2-4-3-8?
Ayala, Bat, Flint, Shotton, Clayton, Saville, Friend, Barami, Assombalonga, McQueen.
It's a full change, that Jacob, isn't it?
Braithwaite's on the bench today. He's put Tav, he's put Wing on the bench, Fry, McNair.
I like the sound of your bench.
It's
attacking.
It's very much defensive.
Would you play McNair on Saturday? Would you? I would personally.
I don't personally like him.
I don't know where I feel a bit for McNair at the minute because again I think he's come to us and yes he's got the injury record and he's come a little bit unfit I think to the club. I'm not quite sure where he fits in. It's another midfielder.
No, I agree with that. So I don't like him. I don't see where he fits in.
Midfielder for me.
Yeah, and that's it. And I don't think again it's another similar midfielder to what we've got plenty of.
Well, I would give Clayton a break just for the sake of it, and I would say.
I don't think you can do it, mate.
But hear me out. Just to see where we at with the relationship with him and Saville in the middle because the player there for Northern Ireland and they're really good, and it'd be nice to see if we could grow something from that because. Clayton's had a great season. He's the last person I'd drop.
McNair will play tomorrow.
McNair will play tomorrow, and again, like you said,
I'd love to see us win tomorrow.
That's an ideal platform for those lads to hopefully put forward their case. What I hope doesn't happen is they have an absolute stinker, they get beat, and then there's a reason they're rubbish and they're not good enough.
There's your
and I hope that doesn't happen.
I've got to be honest, I do like the partnership between Ledbetter and McNair at the minute when I watch them in these cup games. But of course, I think tomorrow's our proper. I think that's the kids' proper test, especially in the cup games. Championship v the championship. And it'll be tough, but I hope we do win. Like I say, I've been saying 2-1. I don't know why, but someone's just telling me there's something in that game for the kids. But again,
I think it's spark their season.
Preston do, and I think it's going to be a really tough game because everyone's saying, they're bottom of the league, but they've got to get a win tomorrow night because like I say, they're really struggling. They're not Leeds out in the last round, but in the league they're struggling massively.
And I rate McNeil. I do think he's a good manager.
Oh, Alec Neil,
Alec Neil, he did well at Norwich, didn't he? Took that season.
He almost got Preston at the playoffs last year on a shoestring, and they've got some good players there.
Yeah, and a bad team coming almost coming the end of the season. Preston aren't a bad team. They always seem to push up there.
Yeah, I like that what Daniel Stevenson's mentioned there about tomorrow the weekend at Hull. Do you think the K-Com will be a ghost town again like last season? What I will say about Hull, in fairness to their fans, is. It's the shortest journey, one of the shortest journeys for us this season. And our allocation went quickly to nearly 2,500. But what they've got wrong there, Hull City, they don't offer any concessions at all. Home fans or away fans. So that's probably why their crowds are as low as they are. And I think the alums there they've screwed that club over a little bit.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of that talk, isn't there, with
the
way they've been quite sort of misers with the budget, and you know they had it with the
whole Tigers thing as well. They wanted to change the name of the club and stuff like that.
When Silver took over, when he nearly kept him in the Premiership, budget to get back out of the league, and that's part of the reason why he left. Because he had a right good manager there. You don't need a ghost. There was talk if he stays, they weren't prepared to give him any budget to get back out of the league, and that's part of. Well, if we've took a full army like we normally do, that's sound.
I can understand why Hull fans aren't going to games.
Absolutely.
Off the back of that, I think we've probably win 4-0 then. If we've got our fans there, behind them straight away.
For me now, we've got to step it up.
No one there.
I know it's early, but we've got to step it up. I believe you've got to gain ground in this league, and if you don't, you're going to get caught up.
And you need to hammer somebody. You need to go and hammer somebody. I know it doesn't happen every week, but we don't hammer people very often. You know, Leeds United at home last season, 3-0 was
I'll be
probably the last.
honest, I don't expect us to hammer many teams this season. I think we're going to be very methodical.
Jacob's through the team.
That's a good way to put it.
Jacob's through the team for Preston, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, go on, let's hear it.
Lonergan's in goal.
Slavin.
He's playing... Lonergan, he's playing shot on the right back, Frywood, that Barami... Barami's going to get 2 starts. He's going to get 2 starts again.
He's hot, isn't he?
We haven't even seen him play tomorrow. Saville, McNair, Ledbitter, Downing, Wing and Fletcher. Yeah. And the bench.
I think he's just trying to give everyone a game there. I think
it's almost like the old Super 6 predictions, isn't it? Just like, I'll go for that.
What's your racker?
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. So, before we move on to get a prediction from the game on Saturday at Hull, any happy memories going to the K-Com or Boothry Park before that?
A lot of happy memories I've seen. Scott McDonald scored a hat-trick there.
Yes, he did, in 4-2 win.
After being 1-0 down, and I've seen Borough's worst player, out of a few,
go on.
Maximilian Ass, when he set up for their first goal. When he went to clear it,
he came from Bayern Munich.
Be team captain. Everyone was ready.
Did he just come from Bayern Munich train station though? Was he? He must have been.
He was right back right in front of me. And he went to boot it, he put all his power through, and he hardly got it over the player's shoulder. Fell to their play, put it in 1-0 down.
I don't know about Bayern Munchen, more like Brian Munchen.
The painting. It's Scream.
How about you, mate? Any memories? Happy?
That one, that was a
cracker. Did you go to that one? That was right up one of that.
That was a good one. Last season, because it gave us a bit of hope out of nowhere. It was kind of like, it was the middle of the 3, the trilogy, and everyone was, here we go, we go there, because they were half decent last year. They were half decent. They had, who was it, the guy up front for them? He's been there quite a while.
Abel Hernandez, was it? Yeah.
And it was, he's a good player.
He is.
He's not bad.
And that gives us a bit of hope, but it's not a standout fixture for me. Sorry, Hullians.
So go on, prediction for Saturday at Hull.
If no one turns out for Hull and they've got a really bad crowd there, and obviously we take our fans are amazing every away game, then I could see it quite easily being a 2-0, even a 3-0, 3-0 on the counter. Right. But I'm gonna say 1-0 Borough.
1-0.
I think we should wipe the floor with these 3-0. Yeah. Honestly, I think we should be. No problem.
Go on, Rob.
2-1 on Saturday.
He's lethargic there, though.
I was going to go 2-1, but I'm loath to give us a win now, because last time we all went for a win was Norwich, and you know what happened. So I'm going to say 1-1 draw. Because
I'm going 1-0 Hull then, based on that theory.
Oh, well, lads, we've run out of time. Enjoyed your company again tonight.
It was a pleasure, boys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here at the Longlands Club. That's it for another week. Thank you all, Borough fans out there, for joining us. Thanks for all the contributions. Keep an eye out this week for Rob and the lads who are going to be at the game at Preston tomorrow night. Hull at the weekend.
Doing the interviews.
Come on, get an interview. Come on tomorrow, get an
interview. Got the previews as well before those games going out. Don't forget, subscribe, like us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Until next week, everybody, all the best and up the Borough.
Up the Borough, guys.
BoroFanTV. Red and white, you and me. Longlands Club, BoroFanTV.
Thank you, everybody, by the way.
Plagiarism.
It was good, that.